Hello everyone. Exciting day for patch 11.1, I think the number is, for patch Undermine, as today we got the second week, which meant the complete main campaign, as well as the release of the raid. We got to see the ending of the Galagio, what's going down Undermine, what's up with Gallywix, and perhaps a hint towards the future. A couple of cutscenes were released, and I was sitting here actually working on the story of the Undermine, but I figured maybe I got something interesting to say about the cutscenes in the form of a reaction. So one of the big ones, sorry, before we open up anything else, of course, a warning, spoilers ahead. If you're still planning to play through the patch, or you just don't want to be spoiled, we are going to go over the cutscenes. So first up, a very big one, and this is one that had me very excited from the PTR. To set the stage, Renzik has been trying to convince Gazlo for our time for like a week now. Renzik wants to fight for Undermine. He wants to do more than what they've done so far, whereas Gazlo, he wants to turn his back on Undermine. He doesn't want to be here, and he does not believe that the city is worth fighting for. And then this happens.
Take the shot.
Catch on the flip side, Gazzy.
Renzik! Oh no. No. Kill them all. Triple hazard pay for whoever brings me Gazlo's head.
And this kind of stuff is exactly what I would like to see more in WoW. The tragedy, but also the gruesomeness, the darkness, the grittiness. After a week, Renzik just gets vaporized by Nikki the Fixer. As Gallywix puts out a hit for Gazlo. The shot was meant for Gazlo. And this is what puts him on the path of, okay, it's time for a rebellion. We're going to riot through the streets. We're going to take back Undermine. Gallywix has gone way too far. And after rallying everybody, tearing down statues and whatnot, we make our way to the casino. We make our way to the Emboss, where Gallywix awaits. And then we got this moment. And this one, I'll just play it out.
It seems your time has run out, Gallywix.
Xal'atath, you got here just in time. There.
Where is the Dark Heart?
What do you mean? I handed it over to your ethereal pal.
You gave it to the Ethereals?
And this right here is, in my opinion, a brilliant use of point of view in the storytelling. Because last week, we were told by Illyria that... Also that face. We were told by Illyria that, in her mind, the assumption was that the Ethereals were working with Xal'atath. And so therefore, they took the Dark Heart out of Gallywix's hands. Gallywix didn't want to hand over to Xal'atath because he wanted to get his little ducks in a row. He wanted to have enough weaponry to defend what was his. He wasn't ready to hand over the Dark Heart. And so the Ethereals showed up. And they took it from him. And he assumed that that meant that they were working for Xal'atath. But here we see, no. This does not go according to Xal'atath's plans whatsoever. These Ethereals, they're not her allies.
He wasn't working for you? I didn't know. I swear. Hey, we can still fix this. Just help me stomp this rebellion.
You have outlived your usefulness. But I will enjoy watching them tear you apart.
So as you can see, rebellion in the background. They're coming for Gallywix. This time around, not similar as to what happened with Ansurek. Like, Ansurek had Xal'atath whisper to her in the end. She had outlived her usefulness, assuming that she bought Xal'atath enough time to then suck out the darkness from from Beladar for the Dark Heart. But here, again, it did not go according to her plans. And it puts into perspective this being that started off as this massive, untouchable threat. And it turns out that not everything is going according to her plans. Not everything is under her control. And I really like that, because there were a lot of similarities to someone else who was, planning everything 5 steps ahead and everything was falling into their place. I really like it that Xal'atath is manipulating from the shadows and trying to push certain pieces into certain places for certain reasons. Because we got to keep in mind that we also still do not know Xal'atath's full motivations. The Locust Walker believes that she wants to bring in dimensions to all devouring. But as we learned with an Illyria, these characters in-game can be fully wrong. Perhaps Xal'atath wants something else entirely. What is her motivation? We've had outside trailers in which she sets her sights on the soul within the world, but are those to be trusted? It's interesting to imagine, like, okay, where is this path going to take us? Apparently not with a Xal'atath that holds the Dark Heart in her possession. So now what is she going to do? What was she planning to do? And what is she willing to do to make those plans still come true? And I like it. Like, up in the past, we've had discussions about, Illyria was able to shoot the Dark Heart. And, how is that possible with a Xal'atath? But yeah, I really like that they are making her infallible, I think the word is called. Not perfect.
I don't need you. I don't need anyone. You hear me? Each and every one of you upstarts is gonna pay.
And here we have a Gallywix who is motivated purely by being Gallywix. We spoke about it before, like is Xal'atath whispering in his ears? Is he being manipulated by the whispers of the void? But I don't think a Gallywix character needs to be established as, he needs to be manipulated. Gallywix has always done what Gallywix did, which is fill his pockets, make that moolah, rise to the top and that position of power. Quite intelligent about it as well, able to outmaneuver and outplay his opponents, getting leverage on all the cartels. But here, with what he was, keeping the Dark Heart and losing it to the Ethereals, and of course our actions as well, missing the shot on a Gaslow, it turns out that the world can definitely be turned against him. And now he stands all alone. Now we're going to go to the raid. I haven't seen the entire raid yet, but the end cutscene for the raid is available.
In blood.
In blood. Sure. So this is at the end. We fought against Gallywix and his Big Mac. I'll just play it out.
Worthless hunk of junk.
Hey, hold on!
It's not over till I say it's over. And I always win!
Look out!
Huh? Ah!
Sheesh. Sheesh.
Let's get out of here.
And so ends the tale of Gallywix. And when I was watching this on stream, shout out to Squishei, by the way, of course, as well as WoWhead for getting these cutscenes out per usual. Links in the description. As I watched this on stream, I saw that the chat was very negative about this ending. Like what a cutscene. Like, was that really necessary to have a cutscene? But I don't know. On the one hand, I like the simplicity of it. Gallywix is just Gallywix. Rose to the top, and we fought him before, and this time around, Gaslow still tries to warn him, but his own anger, his own hubris, his own ego is the thing that ultimately does him in. With the weaponry, crumbling on top of his head, and that's the end of it. I genuinely really like the simplicity of it. It's just, game over. But what I don't like is that Gallywix is dead. Inevitably, that was, he could have escaped, I guess, and they could have kept him around. But sometimes it's okay to close a book on a character. And Gallywix had his story. It's just I really like the character of Gallywix, and it's just, the man is never gonna be yelling at me again. The man is never gonna scheme again. I'm never gonna see those chins wiggle around. Bobby is truly dead and gone. But then if I think about, okay, what has he done in the previous expansions, like a Dragonflight or Shadowlands? Like Dragonflight, he was not there. Shadowlands, he had that weird cameo. And the Battle for Azeroth, he had quest lines. So mainly Shadowlands, weird cameo, and Dragonflight. Like for the last 2 expansions, he hasn't really done much. So yeah, that's how I feel about the ending. Like I said, it's an ending. I don't think I'd ever fully be happy with a character like Gallywix truly gone. But at the same time, it's also nice to close the book on something, right? Then there is the epilogue questline. And this is the one, or the cinematic, I should say. And this is the one that got me to sit down and be like, yeah, I got things to say, I think. Let's play it.
The truth is, I never thought that much of Undermine. The rough streets, the dirty dealings, the mob bosses squeezing everyone for their last copper coin. And while Gallywix is gone for good, that's not what's gonna change this city. It'll be the people who defy its reputation and stick around to fight for each other. That's what Renzik did. And that's what we all gotta do to build a new tomorrow.
So up to this point, in my mind, I was like, okay, it's the family. Let's come together like we were always meant to. Cutscene. And it like, everybody's happy now. We're a council. Everybody's gonna have a voice. But no. There is more.
For Undermine. So, let's get to work.
So I'm pretty sure that's the third person that was been looking at the Dark Heart like this. So obviously, the beginning is very much like, okay, let's wrap up Undermine. And to me personally, Undermine is phenomenal. I love the Undermine patch. I love the city. I love all the nooks and crannies. The music is out of this world. I love that every corner I can go into, there's little bits and bobs to check out. I love the theme. I love the settings. I love the goblins. Genuinely, Undermine. Yeah, I'm sitting here. It's Tuesday on the European side of things, so we have to wait one more day before we're going to be raiding. I am just crossing my fingers that the raid and that the new season is going to be great, because that's ultimately what's going to make or break the patch for me. I'm hoping it's going to be great, but thematically and for the main scenario, yeah, the story, I've been loving Undermine. But then let's talk a little bit about what might the future bring. What is this? I don't know, 2 seconds. Wait, so, the video that we deal with during questing is Phase Thief Azir. Let me just double check that. Yeah, Phase Thief Azir. They're the ones who show up and like, ooh, isn't that a tasty little Dark Heart that you'll got? With the assumption that he is going to bring it back to Illyria. But he didn't. So, what is his allegiance? What is going on here? And obviously, I don't know yet. I don't think in general it's known yet, but we can let the old brain work out a little bit. Ephereals are connected in the past to Karesh and the Mentions the All Devouring. The Ephereals, the way that they look with like the bandages and their spirit form and whatnot, that has to do with the war against the Mentions the All Devouring. And in a set that they brought in Dimensions into this realm, and Dimensions being like a Void Lord. In the realm of speculation, people have been wondering, did Xal'atath make that happen because we have the Locust Walker, this really powerful void-wielding Ethereal, who mentions this in the beginning cutscene with Illyria. He mentions, like, our world started to sing out a song, our world started to give out a warning, and then Dementia showed up, which is a little bit different than what the lore has said so far, the history has said so far. The history so far said that they were the ones who summoned in Dimensions. But what if both are true? What if the world started to sing out? And what if Xal'atath did do what Xal'atath does, which is manipulate? Whisper here and there, get the people of Karesh to summon in Dimensions. What if she is partially responsible for that happening? I've also heard the suggestion from people that she is an Ethereal originally speaking. But I don't know about that one. Like, we have an Illyria in Hollowfall who mentions that Xal'atath is not an old god, but something more ancient, more old. However, Illyria might know that. So I don't know if I sign up with the idea of she's an Ethereal. Maybe, right? Anything's possible. But what if she was a manipulating catalyst back on the world of Karesh? So she was the one who brought in Dimensions, the Old Devouring. The people of Karesh tried to fight back, and they lost the war. And as we already saw in the Burning Crusade, they had fighters, they had units that showed up that were ready to take on Dimensions. And back during the Burning Crusade, we did a whole quest with defeating Dimensions. And 1,000, 1,000,000 Ethereals, they screamed out in joy, like, yay, we fought the war. But I think, as what they're building up now, I think that's been retconned in the essence that what we thought was like a small manifestation of Dimensions, and the real thing is still out there, because otherwise, how could Locust Walker think that Dimensions is still coming, right? That could be an idea. So now, after X amount of years, the Ethereals are ready to fight back against Dimensions, are ready to reclaim their planets, and so they work on stealing the Dark Heart from Xal'atath. And we know that the Dark Heart has like this hunger within. It can suck up magic, can suck up power and turn it into void. What if their goal is to cleanse Karesh? What if what we're looking at here is a shattered Karesh? And what if their goal is to devour or save their corrupted world soul? Because we gotta keep in mind, if the parallel the Locust Walker draws to Azeroth, so he says, like, oh yeah, our world started to ring out as well. That means that their world, their home world of Karesh, it had a world soul similar to Azeroth. But what happened to the world soul once that war was raged? Like, could it be that the soul got corrupted by the void? And is that what they want to suck out? Is that what we're looking at? Like the core of the planet, the core of the soul? Is that what they're trying to do? Or do they have entirely different plans in mind? Who is to say? Beyond that, like, say that they are working with other entities. I still haven't written off the idea. I mean, many people haven't written off the idea that Locust Walker is not entirely what he says that he is. That perhaps he is somewhat of an ally, but in reality, he has his own goals in mind. Perhaps these Ethereals are allied with him. But there was also an Ethereal in the background, and I believe that they showed up in like the Void Elf starting area, and they showed up in the Brawlers Guild. I did a video on this. Oh, let me check. One that's been operating from the shadows in the back. One that you may have forgotten about, because I know I sure did. The Void Ethereal Shadreen and those that follow her lead. She shows up in the Void Elf intro cutscene, and then occasionally pops up at Logra's Rifts, honoring her title of the Watcher and watching us. If you want that full video, it's called The Story of the Ethereals, Karesh, Dimensions, Locust Walker, and more. But if I remember right, Shadreen was like watching us from the shadows, and with the Brawler Guild, she was testing our skills. Could it be that this Ethereal group is still connected to her? We've also seen the Ethereal in the Narubar Palace. I was going to call it the Eternal Palace. That is a completely different place. We've also seen the Ethereal in the Narubar Palace, where they were going at it. They were ready to assassinate the queen of the Narubians, or at least by putting the piece together, that's kind of what we figured out. She has like a dagger. She has like an ability for taking out royalty or something like that. There are a couple of clues in the fight that suggest the idea that she was there to assassinate the queen. She also talks to someone prior to the engagement. And the only reason that we fight each other is because she's like, no witnesses, I'm going to take you out. If we sat down, had a cup of tea, and perhaps explained to her that we were there to kill the queen as well, who knows what we could have made happen. Point being, we've already seen Ephirios working against Xal'atath's plans, or at the very least, trying to overcome this corrupted queen. In a realm where a Xal'atath exists, and a Xal'atath potentially trying to bring in dimensions to all devouring to Azeroth, at the very least setting her sights on a world soul, and then Ephirios that have witnessed this before. From that, you would imagine that the Ephirios would set their sights on Xal'atath, but just randomly my brain popped off and was like, well, what if they're using the Dark Heart as a transporter, and they're going to transport their world soul to ours, like a corrupted world soul? Could that be the thing that plunges Azeroth into midnight? And they would do it in order to save their planet. And then Xal'atath would be like, oh no, we can't let them take the Prime World Soul. That would be horrendous. And be like, yep, now we need to ally with Xal'atath. We're diving off the deep end there. All the same, because I don't want this video to be like an hour long. All the same, like I said, I really enjoyed Undermined so far. I can't wait to see it all contextualized tomorrow in the questing experience, in the raid itself. I'm hoping that we're going to see some clues onto the next patch and the next expansion real soon. Because we can go in many different ways. There's Orwena and the Black Blood that played a big part also in Undermine. Could her visions from Azeroth guide her to the next patch? There's Farron and the Arathi Empire. There is Karesh and the homeworld of the Ephirios to consider. Imagine if we go there for the ending of the patch for the War Within. That would be kind of sick. Then there is the whole, with Midnight, we're going to go to the Olden Lands. I'm just curious what's around the corner. Which I know, we're on patch day today with the story already revealed and you're already hungry for the next chapter. But I think that's a good thing, honestly. Like, obviously, I would like more story all the time. But I think the feeling of, I can't wait to find out what's around the next corner is a good feeling. Like, you're invested in the story and you're curious about what's going to happen next. I think that is a good thing. But with that, let me end my ramble. Hopefully, I was able to give you anything or something of insights. By all means, let me know what you're thinking in the comments down below. And I'll see you all tomorrow for the stream. Main story, LFR, delves, gearing, all the good stuff. That's going to be tomorrow. So for now, bye-bye. Oh, wait, now I need to do it proper. Until next time. See ya.